At 7,100 pounds, you should fall well within the realm of half-ton towability, assuming you have a proper payload rating, of course. If you don't know what that means, call our team. We'll make sure that you can, be safe while you're towing this one. 28-footish rear kitchen super slide Palomino Puma coming in on trade here at Haylett RV in Coldwater, Michigan. Overall, it's okay. It looks about how you would expect a more basic entry-level RV when it was brand new to look at this age. There has been a leak in the rear corner. I'm going to show you that first thing here as soon as we get the slide opened up, because decency, transparency, and integrity are just the cornerstones of how we conduct our business here at Haylett RV. Pretty common thing with rear kitchens like this. When you close the slide, you got that, like when it's open, you're like, sweet, I have all this counter space and it's awesome. But when it's all closed up, it gets a little tricky to navigate. That being said, I've got a little trick for you. Now, you're pretty much always going to lose the fridge with the slide closed. But when you're going down the road, if you either put that table in the down position, or if you do something like store the table under the bed, I say under, not on the mattress, so that it doesn't slide around, it makes it a lot easier to snake back there and get to the countertop space and all that. But again, you will pretty much lose fridge access. That's the difference between really rear livings and rear kitchens. Rear kitchens give you more cabinet and counter space, but at the expense of travel accessibility. So it's just a measure of leveraging which one's more important to you, really. And isn't it just incredible difference a slide out makes? So, like I said, this one's had a leak. Let's go ahead and get it over with. It's back here in the rear corner. Overall, I think the folks did a decent job taking care of this. From what I can tell, when the RV was in like winter storage, some water expansion from freezing water, it broke the rear corner seam there, and the camera's not doing very good in that dark little corner, so pardon me. But this is very obvious. When I get up here, you can see how this whole rear wall has had some water exposure to it. Obviously, somebody punched their finger through the wallpaper right there, and that does continue down behind the cabinetry. Now that sucks, for sure. We understand that. We take stuff like that into account when we price things, and obviously we aren't trying to snowball anybody on this thing. We are trying to be fair and decent and reasonable. So if that's a deal breaker, I totally get it. Let's go ahead and get you looking at a different Haylett RV so that you can buy with confidence and know that we aren't going to give you the runaround. But now, if you say, well, for the right price, I'd still potentially be interested in this, let's move on. Super slide here for rainy day space. Both the sofa dinette fold down to storage, and there is storage, or fold down into sleeping, pardon me, and there's storage below both of the seats. I already mentioned how rear kitchens give you more counter space and more cabinet space than rear living areas, as we can plainly see here. But what's nice is how they did continue that storage above these two rocking chairs. Now again, rear living versus rear kitchen. This is my favorite place right here to take a look at it, because a rear living room gives you a big window with a couple chairs, and that's neat. It makes the RV look and feel real big. But the problem is those chairs are usually overlooked by the back of the camper next to you. They're off the rear wall. Whereas on this one, that giant window right there, it's facing your campsite. Plus, it's also facing the windows in the super slide and the seats across from it. So this is a cross breeze dream. All of the seating is cross breeze seating. It's also a very social floor plan because if you notice, all of the chairs kind of point inward. This is what I like to call a conversation model. Everybody knows the party ends in the kitchen, and rear kitchens kind of put that back there. She was made before the day and age of flat screens, so the entertainment center actually has some good, decent, deep storage, as deep as you see these cavities right here. We have a pretty common historic upper deck bed bath split deck sort of thing, or split bed bath. I can't even talk today. Holy cow. We had just before this, by the way, part of the reason I'm a friggin' brain dead idiot right now is because last weekend we had our anniversary sale, which is where this trade came from right here. And it was the single most successful event we have ever hosted. And that's awesome. But that also means we had a lot of work goes into making that happen. And then to try to serve the number of customers that it generates, it's exhausting. So up front here, we do have a north-south true queen, not a camp queen, which is one of the nice things about north-south beds in fifth wheels. I like the dual side stands. I like the dual hanging closets. If you open those up, if you walk around the roof, you thump around those, no leaks there. It's had one leak, It was a significant leak. We've already talked about it, but it hasn't been riddled with them. Now, because the shower is on the middle deck, there is a small step up to the bed here. Not major. You can see it right there. Not an ankle breaker kind of thing. It does mean that that is a plenty tall shower for bigger folks like me. And giving us that extra clothing storage that we're really going to want for a longer trip. You see this extra closet with the dresser drawers down below. So it doesn't have a bed slide. It doesn't have a closet slide, but it does have the storage of a closet slide without the weight and cost of a closet slide. How cool is that? And very simple, not fancy, not flashy, closet style bathroom, because you're here to do your business and get back on to camping, am I right? Really, the exterior looks fairly decent considering the age of the RV. The decals and everything have held up pretty well. Other than that rear kitchen corner, which it's a significant thing. I'm not trying to downplay that. But other than that, really, it's done pretty well. It's enjoyed some decent ownership. I think that there was just an instance of reactive maintenance versus proactive maintenance. Now, I do notice that those wheels are mismatched, which makes me think that the front tire at one point experienced a flat, and the folks swapped it out, which also explains the lack of spare tire on the bumper. But the fact is, we have 4 decent wheels on it currently. Although I haven't spotted the original rim either, so you're probably going to need a tire and wheel if you want to replace that. Just something to keep in mind. This rear corner up here, I've been on top of the Cougar next to me. You know what? Why should I tell you I've been on top of the Cougar next to me? How about we all climb on top of that Cougar together and, you know, look at it from there. So this is really the big area in question, and it's historic. It wasn't recent. That's why the sealant doesn't look fresh whatsoever. But you can also see how they went all the way down that wall to seal up whatever was happening there. So it's a bummer. It happened. You know, it sucks. But it's also the reason we're not asking top dollar for this rig. Now, while I was up here, I noticed a couple other little spots where maybe like a little low-hanging tree branch might have chattered down the side of it. But again, folks addressed it as they needed to. They didn't leave it there. And although this one got away from them, the rest of everything else they were right on top of. So I've seen worse, I've seen better. I'm not to the point I'm going to call it a handyman special, but it is something I think, given what I see in that rear corner, it is more appropriate for someone who has a good idea or is willing to put in the time and learning effort to, you know, making sure some extra maintenance and extra sealing and things are performed every year. So, you know, hopefully you appreciate the honest candor in which we conduct ourselves here at Haylett RV. If this one looks like it would work for you, give us a call. If the things that you've seen don't work for you, well, obviously we have a literal sea of RV roofs out here. There's plenty of other different things, whether it's new, used, or otherwise, to take a look at, guys. Our inventory changes over constantly. All we need to know is what you're looking for and when you'd like to take it home. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.